On that note, welcome to the Striker Match podcast. It's your
It's
boy
your,
Jay Hamp.
and your girl, Klassi Lady. Thank you guys for tuning in.
What's going on? What's going on out there in TV world? Well, not TV world, but
TV radio.
TV radio world, Spotify world, Apple Podcast world, Google Podcast world, wherever you
Yeah.
listening at. Yeah, what's going on? What y'all up to?
What's going on with the people, man?
I mean, it's a lot
It's a
going
lot
on right
going on.
now. It's a lot going on. I know y'all out there, y'all ready for them kids to go back to school, ain't you?
I don't know how that's gonna happen. I've been hearing a lot of people like on both sides kind of like, well, I'm not sending my kids to school with no pandemic and everything that's going on. And then you got other people like, well, I need to send my kids to school. They need to figure this out and put I guess they were trying to put maybe plexiglass or something on the desk. And I'm like, wait, what are we doing here? Mind you, today there was, I don't know what state it was, but I did see that there was a teacher leaving out of Jules or leaving out of a grocery store or something, and the guy was walking in front of her, and he was taking off his mask, getting ready to walk to his car. Well, she pulled her mask off and spit in his face and said, "I'm a teacher with COVID-19. Put your mask back on. You're the reason that we have the problems we do now."
Wait a minute. The teacher took her mask off and spit in Buddy's face? And
Yes.
Buddy didn't have a mask on?
He took his mask off already because he was leaving out of the store, taking his mask off so he can walk to the car, and put his groceries in.
Yeah.
And the teacher
What?
spit in his face and said, "You're the reason we have these problems now. Put your effing mask on."
That's not the reason that we have these problems right now. I just want to state
Karen.
that first off. Wow, are you serious? Like now that I don't I
That's
can't
assault.
I can't say what I want to say. That's assault. That's assault. That's assault. She deserved to get dropped. I'ma say it.
She would have got it.
She should have got dropped for real. If his wife, woman was with, somebody should have dropped her right there for real.
Yep.
People getting out of pocket with this thing now.
Yeah.
People getting a little out of pocket with this thing.
People are definitely being very inappropriate.
Yeah,
very inappropriate.
That's disgusting.
It is.
That's disgusting, disrespectful, a violation of my personal space. And who are you? You ain't the police. You ain't no doctor. Who are you?
Exactly.
Get out my face.
Exactly. Like, who does that?
And think about how many times we done been out certain spots, certain places, and they don't have on no mask.
Groups of people with no mask.
Groups.
Yes.
Groups of them. So let's cut it out right quick. A lot of the masks y'all wearing, I hate to break it to you, a lot of the masks y'all wearing, if you look
more dangerous.
If you look, it's more dangerous. And if you look in the warning section of when you buy the mask, it'll tell you right there, this does not prevent against the spread of viruses. It has that on some of these mask manufacturing sites. Them little, let's come on. Unless you got an N95 respirator mask.
Exactly.
It's one of them masks that says, that these are the masks that prevent whatever the droplets, whatever they say causing it. A lot of this other stuff it almost like just for fashion or something right now. To tell you the truth,
it's because they say it.
Because they say it. So let's get out my face. Like, don't do it. I know that is disgusting, yo. People need to fall back and chill out.
It is. People are going overboard, yo. People are going to the extreme, and it's like crossing so many boundaries, being so inappropriate and disrespectful. And it's like, it's real provoking. It is very provoking on what's going on right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they do. They cause confusion. They create this hostility between us,
Yep.
Crisis, manufacturing crisis. And then now you got the people. It's weird. Like, I promise you, I saw somebody make a post one day and it says something like, I'm starting to judge my friends differently, or judge certain people differently. Like, I guess when they see people who choose to wear the mask versus people who choose not to wear the mask, right? People who
Okay.
choose the social distance or choose whatever the case may be, choose all the different things they're telling us to do, right? And I thought about it, and when I saw it, you know what I thought to myself?
What?
I said, for me, it's the exact opposite. I think about my friends differently and judge people differently now when I see how overly compliant and
They are.
gullible and easily persuaded are by whatever it is the government is telling you to do. The same government that for years we've been telling the propaganda and they put us in a negative light and can't trust the media and all this stuff. The same government and media, and now it's just y'all compliant. And I'm like, well, isn't this the same government that y'all always say they put black men in a negative light, they put black women in a negative light, black kids, all this stuff, they portray us, the propaganda. This the same media and government that do this, but then this, y'all just overly compliant. So that got me judging you different, regardless of the mask or the social distancing or the vaccine or the testing or whatever. So I was like, it's causing a lot of division, for sure. For sure.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And just now that you even mentioned that, like, yo, that is very true though, because it seemed like, I remember one day you and I were talking about how, of course, they have at one point where, oh, you got to have a license for this. Your car stickers got to be updated. You get pulled over. You get all these citations, violations, and fines. And the minute the pandemic hit or coronavirus hit, and it's like, oh, police drive right past you. Your place been out for 3 months.
Yep.
It's like, so why you couldn't leave me alone then?
Yep. I remember we was talking about that. Yep.
It is a sticker. What you mean my license expired? I'm still the same person.
Yep. So that should be a big wake up call right there. That it's just the silly laws.
It is.
It's not that it's some real threat that you riding around with a sticker that's 6 months old. It's not some real threat to society or some stuff or a threat to you. Because like I said, for the past, when it first happened, it's like, okay, it's cool now. So what? So, like you said, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
But people don't get it. People want to stay stuck in the way they thinking, I guess. And I mean, I don't know. Like, it is what it is. I know what I'm doing over here. I know what I got shaking. So y'all do what y'all want to do out there. Stay safe, of course. But just kind of look at and see what you see going on and ask yourself the question, just like Classic Lady just said. All this time you get pulled over, the thing could be 5 days old. They got you hemmed up. Step out the car.
Real.
Step out the car, man. Now you done been riding around, your tag still say August 2019 or something. You know what I'm saying?
Not August.
Well, maybe not August.
You gotta say at least March.
Okay, March 2020. I'm thinking about the tags on the Cutlass that say 2019.
That's what it is. You've been a rebel.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So, on another note, our conversation for the night, our topic for the night, we talking about keeping score.
Keeping score, keeping tally marks.
Score. What does it mean to keep score, yo?
Keeping score.
Yeah.
You mean like when we playing spades, keeping score, or playing a game? What are we talking about? Like,
we're talking about in relationships that tit for tat.
Oh, okay. Do you remember the time?
Do you remember the time? Come for me and I'm gonna bring up the Carfax.
I got receipts.
I got receipts, yo.
Remember when you did XYZ? Remember when she did XYZ? Okay.
Yeah.
Keeping score. All right.
Yeah. We have a disagreement and I'm going down the list like, you know what? And as a matter of fact, what about 3 months ago when you forgot to do this? Yeah. And what about last year when you did that?
Last year, I thought I was forgiven for that.
Dang. Right?
Classy lady, you ever kept score before? on anybody? In any past relationships, past
Man, Klassi was real bad with that one. Klassi was real bad.
Transparency. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I was keeping score up to the T. Like I was recalling dates.
Yeah,
Let me remind you. And then they'd be like, what is you talking about? You know, when you had on, I'm gonna give you a whole visual.
Man, you gonna paint the picture.
I'm gonna paint the picture. Tell you where we were standing at when it happened and everything.
Dang.
But you know what? That actually came from dealing with so much at the time.
Yeah.
That I felt a need to keep score because things was happening so often. And
so
instead of just walking away, I just felt the need to just remind.
So it's like one thing happening after another.
Yeah.
One thing happening after another, one thing happening another, and all kind of at the same time and so fast. And that kind of like that in your situation, like in the past, that kind of like was one of the things that contributed to you kind of keeping score.
Yeah, that definitely contributed to me keeping score because it was like you did this thing, and in the midst of you apologizing, you was doing something else.
Yeah. So after I tell you where we was, what you had on, what I had on, what time it was, pull up the screenshots or whatever else it is, you kind of trying to get out of this thing, but you going into something else.
Exactly. You're like, I'm sorry, but how you sorry and you doing this now?
Yeah.
Then we just talk about this. Then we just deal with this.
That honestly, like I would say for me too, like you know, like in my past relationships and things like that, I would say that's probably one of the reasons like why I might have been guilty of keeping score too. It wasn't because it wasn't ever because I was trying to be petty or nothing like that, be like unforgiving. It was because something happened. I explained to you what happened.
Right.
You told me you understand. But then the something that happened just magically either keeps on happening or, you know what I'm saying? It happened again. It's happening right again. And so now it's like, now I got to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, didn't we talk about this? Didn't this just happen yesterday? Didn't this happen last week?
Yeah.
You know, you say you understand. Maybe you don't understand. Clearly you don't understand. So now I'm finding myself in this position where like, I'm subconsciously hanging it over your head or trying to make you feel it or whatever, because maybe you don't get it, like that this is something that like I'm serious about and then I'm seriously saying this gotta stop. And like you say, instead of just walking away after going back to one of our early episodes, creating them boundaries, you know what I'm saying? And just like, all right, you don't get it, you don't want to get it, you ain't stupid, so all right, whatever, boom, I'm out.
Yeah. And I know like what we're speaking to is kind of like reminding our partner at the time what the issue or concern was, what the offense was that we didn't like or we didn't agree with or we felt that was wrong. But we do have some people in relationships more than others that keep score because they simply want to win. They just want to be right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there is a difference for me having to constantly remind you of what you're doing to hurt me, as opposed to me throwing it in your face. You did something and now I want to be right and you have to be wrong.
Oh yeah. When you reminded somebody of what they did to hurt you, that's like self-preservation going on right there. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not reminding you of this because it brings me like some type of joy or something. I'm reminding you of this because you've done it again, or you've done something in the same similar fashion to it, and it's affecting me. And so I have to do something about it. I've got to say something. I've got to bring it up to you. I've got to remind you of the time when you did something similar to this. I got to do it because you're doing the same thing. You're repeating that same pattern, that same behavior. It's a pattern with you. And so like, there's a difference, like you said, between that and just being somebody that's like, I'm trying to win or whatever, in which you saying that made me think about something when you hit me with the topic today or whatever. And it was like, I was just thinking, I was like, in any other context, right?
Yeah.
Outside of relationships, why do you keep score?
Mm.
In any other, like
outside of relationships, in any other setting, why do you keep score?
Why do you keep score? Like a basketball game, for an example. Why do we keep score for a basketball game?
To identify the winner.
To identify the winner. So
Wow.
if we are keeping score in our marriage and our relationship, what are we doing?
Winner versus loser.
We're trying to we're trying to identify the winner. And I was thinking about that. I was thinking, like, you know how messed up that is?
Wow.
Like, you know how messed.
And when you put it
Think
like
about
that, yeah.
Think about it, yo. Like, that's so messed up. Like, you're inherently saying, without saying it, that I want to beat my partner.
Mm.
Or you're inherently saying that this is a game. And in a marriage or relationship, you know,
that's a whole word, J.
People aren't games. This relationship is not a game. This person's heart and feelings is not a game. So why are you trying to win?
Right.
And so instead of like,
and what are you trying to win?
Exactly. Because Klassi Lady, if me and you not, if I'm winning and you're losing and we're on the same team, we're not winning. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You got that's tug of war. I mean, technically we both losing.
We both losing. But I was thinking about it and I was just like, yo, I wonder do people even like look at it like that? You know what I'm saying?
That's real. That's real. Listeners out there, do you guys consider when you're trying to keep score that you're winning and your partner is losing? And is that really what you want out of your relationship or your marriage? Yo.
You got to ask yourself that question. You got to ask yourself that question. Do I want to beat my partner?
Right.
And you also got to ask yourself the question, is my relationship or my marriage a game? Because if you don't want to beat your partner, and if your relationship or your marriage is not a game, then there's no need to keep score. Because the only time we keep scoring anything else, whether we playing spades, whether we playing a basketball game, whatever it is we playing, the only reason we keep score is so we can know who wins. But when you in a marriage or a serious relationship that you actually care about, you ain't supposed to be trying to win. Like, you gotta let that go, yo.
That part. So, like, when you put it in that context, how do we then bring up something to our partner in a situation without having to prove them wrong? Like, how do we have, I know you and I do this kind of well, where we have healthy conflict without pointing the finger, making blame, or seeing it as if I'm wrong or you're wrong in the situation. Because it's not necessarily the person, it's the problem or whatever we're dealing with at that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just kind of said it. Like, you make it be about the problem and not the person. I think that's the best way you do that. You make it be about what the problem is instead of making it personal and being about the person. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, if there's something that you're doing, it's possible that you don't know that this thing that you're doing is affecting me negatively.
Right.
That's one of the things I had to learn on my journey and my walk and getting closer to Yah, is that sometimes everybody don't understand how some of the things that they do is causing you pain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or causing you harm.
Yeah.
And when you,
or affect you.
Yeah. And so when you take that position, it allows you to forgive them more and be more. But when you automatically take the position that everything people do is to cause you harm and to cause you pain, it's harder to forgive because you feel like, oh, you did this on purpose. You think I'm something to play with. You think I'm a joke.
Right.
You're taking my kindness for weakness. You don't know. I'll mess you up. You know what I'm saying? And so I think in situations like that, you got to kind of make it be about the problem and resolving the problem and not trying to prove the person wrong, because you're trying to prove somebody wrong. It's almost like you're trying to one up them to prove you smarter than them or better than them or something. You know, like Klassi Lady, you messed up 7 times. I only messed up 5 times. And so because I only messed up 5 times, I got the more high ground over you. I won. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to what I really want to see happen is this problem stop so that we don't have to talk about this ever again, whatever it is. And if that can't be the case, then that's when, going back to boundaries, you might have to make a decision, might have to make a call.
Yeah.
What do you think? That's real. What do you think? Like, how do you like, what's your perspective of how you think about, like I said, not making it personal and being like, you know, one upping somebody or proving somebody wrong? How do you go about doing that?
I definitely agree with what you said. Make it about the problem and not the person. And I also think that we have to learn how to stick to the point. Sometimes what happens when we're dealing with a situation with our spouse, we want to make our point by bringing up 5 or 6 other different things. And when you do that, you take the attention off the problem itself. And now it's like you keeping score, because here it is. You're recalling all of these other different moments and other incidents to make your point valid. Instead of just sticking to, okay, whatever you did today, I wasn't with that. It hurt me. I don't agree with it. And I don't think you should do it again.
Yeah.
And it's like, dang, what you mean? What you talking about? You know what you did. No, I don't know what I did. Well, let me tell you. So now when I'm telling you what you did, I'm bringing up what you did last week. I'm telling you what you did a couple months ago.
You're bringing up some other frustration
3 years ago. Some other frustrations to prove my point, instead of just sticking to the problem at hand and say, hey, this is what happened. This is how it affected me. You may not have seen it that way, but I'm telling you from my perspective.
Yeah.
And that should be a clear path for an apology, because you don't have to necessarily agree with what hurt me. You just have to agree that it did hurt me. So you should apologize for it. And we don't do that all the time, because we're looking for a reason to validate it on our own accord. Like, man, that was petty. You tripping. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. And one of the things I learned, if you ever been to counseling, or if you ever done like relationship counseling, therapy, anything like that, one of the first things that they'll tell you is that validating the other person is probably one of the most undiscovered, unused things that could just dead and end a lot of arguments, and just have y'all both going to bed singing, you know, you're my baby, you my lady, eating whatever, just grapes and whipped cream, having a good night together. You know what I'm saying? Like, just validate. I'm just saying, validating the other person. And all that means is, like I said, if Klassi come to me and be like, you know, yeah, J Hamp, something you did the other day, you know, that kind of like hurt my feelings, the way you said this, the way you did this. And instead of me being like, you know, damn, I thought you was a little tougher than that, you know what I mean? Or why are you in your feelings, or whatever? Like, or even if I know I didn't mean it that way, just me validate, like, you know, I apologize, babe. You know, like, I didn't, you know, mean to come across it that way. But when I think about it from your perspective, I can see how that made you feel that way. We home free. We ain't even got to slide in the home base. Y'all fellas, I'm talking to my fellas right now. Write this one down.
You ain't leave a batting cage.
Huh? I'm telling you.
I said you didn't even have to leave a batting cage.
You home free, bruh. You home free. You ain't got to slide in. They ain't gonna get you. You coming in home. The fans is clapping. It's on. But we don't like to do that. And because because our ego get in the way, our pride get in the way, and we want to be like, you know, like, what is she talking about? Like, she bugging, she tripping, she hurt, she shamed, she this, whatever, all this other stuff. And like you said too, I like what you brought up too. Like, I feel like that happens a lot of time, and that kind of gets played into the keeping score. instead of us kind of staying on focus and making it be about what really happened, we bring all this other stuff in, or we say, well, you did this, or well, you did that before. And now it becomes the blame game. It becomes a pointing fingers thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like you need an adult to come into the room and sit y'all down and be like,
exactly.
You know, I'm being serious. Yeah, and mediate between y'all. Because now we're talking about 72 things that's wrong with us instead of the one thing that you upset about and I'm upset about right now. And when we start bringing other stuff in, we gonna go all night with this. We gonna go all night.
Yeah.
So we gotta keep it on that one thing, keep it on the problem. Let's discuss this and don't bring all that other stuff. Even if legitimately the person did do something,
exactly,
you have legitimate reason to bring it. Don't save that for another discussion, because once you start piling all that stuff in, it's like a floodgate, man.
Yeah,
you don't want it.
Yeah, and it's harder to then address the issue at hand, because once a person starts hearing about all of their wrongs, all of their flaws, they shut down, or they kind of separate. They no longer want to deal with the problem. They don't want to deal with it, because it's like you. And when you start attacking a person's character, they will go into a shell or disassociate themselves and be like, you know what, I'm just not going to deal with this right now.
Yep. Exactly.
And that happens a whole lot, especially ladies. I'm sorry.
What?
It happens because it happens a lot with women. When we're trying to prove a point, men are more like stats, facts, deal with the situation, talk to me about what it is. And women are more so, I'm gonna hit you with this, and if you don't understand it, let me give you another example. But their other example is another problem or situation that you guys had, or is you keeping score. So okay, you don't get that you don't know what I'm talking about. Well, what about the time you did this? Well, what about the time you did that? And here it is, you're bringing up all of these different moments.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of being able to deal with that same problem and just maybe reword it differently, or ask them, how would you feel if somebody did this to you? Allow it to be placed on their plate so that they can see themselves in a situation, as opposed to you bringing up a whole nother problem.
Yeah. I promise you, I'm trying to look up a proverb right now that's kind of going along with what you're talking about. Proverbs 29:11. A fool vents all his feelings, but a wise man holds them back. Sometimes when we get in these situations and these conflicts where it could be something that's been lingering or festering or whatever that you haven't dealt with, you just start to like unload. You just start going, because it's like it's in your heart, it's pent up, you tired of it, whatever the case may be. And it's like you just start venting all of your feelings. And I just read for you in the word, like a fool vents all their feelings. And a wise man or a wise woman holds them back. It's going to work out for your benefit. It's going to work out for the benefit of your family and your household, for you to tackle and address things one thing at a time. And really to tackle and address things when they come up, and don't just think or assume that after a while they're going to go away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you really got to kind of like stay on top of that and make sure that you're doing that. And also something else I wanted to talk to your point, where you're talking about like if somebody always just constantly coming at your character and always like you, something else that, you know, like I kind of learned like in counseling and therapy and stuff like that is like, we really got to like really kind of like, it seemed like overkill sometimes, but the words that you use and the things that the way that you people is very important. So it's a difference between me saying, you know, Klassi lady is you. I'm mad at you. I'm angry at you. I'm frustrated at you. There's a big subtle difference between me saying that and me saying I'm angry at what you did. I'm disappointed at what you did. I'm frustrated at what you did, because it makes it about what you did as opposed to about you. That one little subtle change of word.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm not attacking you. I love you. I care about you. You my rider. You my queen. You all of that. Like, I got you. But this thing that you're doing, I'm attacking it. And if that is something that you want to continue doing to me in this situation, it ain't gonna work. I'm gonna let you know that right now. I wish you the best. Be great, be successful, but we ain't gonna be able to succeed like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. Just hearing you say it, and I hope our listeners out there definitely heard that that point that you made about, instead of attacking the person, you address the action, which means that that is one particular thing that you did. That's one particular problem that I have. It's not you in totality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's that thing that you did. And I think that happens when in counseling they call it assessing a goal. Like what is your goal by bringing this problem up? Are you trying to just share your feelings? Are you trying to defend yourself? Are you trying to be critical of your partner? Or are you just trying to attack another person? So once you begin to assess your goal, what your end result is, I just want him to understand that that hurt me. I just wanted him to apologize. I'm not trying to be critical of him and tell him, don't do this, you shouldn't do that. And I'm not trying to attack his character. I just want him to understand my point of view.
Yeah.
And it's like, we don't even think about situations in that moment, in the heat of the moment. Like, what am I trying to get out of this? Yeah. Because then that's going to actually lean towards how you respond, your tone, the things you say.
Yep.
All of that is going to play into it, because it's like, I know what my goal is. I know what my point is. I know what I'm trying to get him to understand. And that's really why we should sometimes step back and step away from the problem in the heat of the moment, because it gives us time to think about it. It gives us time to reassess it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going in on attack mode. I'm actually emotionally stable enough where I can handle this critically and deal with the problem at hand without coming at you as a person.
Yo, listeners, I hope y'all heard that one, that last part. Like, it is so important sometimes to take a step back and maybe not speak to it in that moment of, anger, pain, sadness, frustration, whatever it is, because like you said, like Klassi Lady said, you're gonna miss out on what your goal is and what y'all talking about. Like, you're not it's gonna be like, what was the point? You know what I mean? Like, was it just to get my feelings off? You know, you can get your feelings off about how you feel and get all those feelings out there. Little do you know, that's a fleshly thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Flesh is telling you like, just get it out, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Just vent, just say it all.
Just vent, just say it all, get it all out, all right now. But if what you really want is you want to walk away like, okay, whatever I'm about to bring to my partner, this is something I'm not gonna have to worry about no more. And what you're gonna be feeling validated and feeling like you got some compensation for whatever they did, some recompense. And you also want your partner, this is the key part too, you want your partner to walk away feeling that they still got their dignity too, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That they still got their respect about themselves, that they ain't walking away shattered, whatever, because of how you just lashed out at them in your feelings, or in the moment, where you didn't take that step back. What's the goal? The goal should be, something happened, it affected me in a negative way, I don't like it, I want to bring it to you, I love you, but guess what? This gotta be resolved. And how do we resolve it? And I'm bringing it to you this way. It happened 4 hours ago, but guess what? I stepped out, took a walk, got me some ice cream, whatever I did, you know what I'm saying? Watched some ESPN, then came back to you and said, hey, babe, we need to talk about this. And get to it. But like you said, I like that. Like, make sure y'all write that down and keep that in mind. Like, what's the goal? You know what I'm saying? What's my goal with this conflict or this whatever, this trespass that just happened or whatever, that we want to try to move past and get to. So yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, Let's talk about some negative reactions in keeping score. What are some of those do nots that we should step away from, that we should kind of change when it comes to keeping score with our partner?
Some of the do nots that we should,
that we should stop doing.
Stop keeping score.
I know that, but in the sense, how do they stop keeping score?
Oh, okay, I got you. Bam. Okay, so here, this is a good one. So one of the ways you stop keeping score is you stop letting stuff build up.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You one of the ways you stop keeping score, and this is something I had to work on myself. Like, I'm a real, like, kind of laid back, cool dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, it take a lot to kind of really get under my skin. But once you get under my skin, you're under it, and you about to feel the wrath of God. But one of the things one of the things you got to realize is address stuff as it comes. Don't let 5 and 10 and 15 things build up that you holding on to.
Yeah.
And 1 minute your partner does something and you lash out with all these things, and your partner looking at you like, dang, I didn't even know you really felt this way. Like, let me know how you really feel.
Right.
Your partner looking at you like, let me know how you really feel, because you've been holding on to all these things, or you let it slide this one time. You let it slide when it happened because you said, okay, maybe they might change. Then you let it slide again because maybe you passively aggressively showed that you was not content with the behavior, but you didn't vocally say, hey, what you just did upset me, frustrate me, disappointed me, whatever.
Yeah.
And you kept letting it build up, and then boom, you just exploded one day. And you was keeping score, you was keeping tally.
Wow.
And your partner looking at you like, dang, I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm speaking from experience on that one.
Listen, I was just going to say, you know that one all too well.
I do. I was guilty. I was guilty of that. I ain't gonna lie. I was guilty of that. Like, just keeping it. Like, I would sit there and be like, all right.
But that's very common. So no, absolutely.
Yeah.
That is very common when you're kind of more passive in a relationship, and it's like those small things. It's like, this is really not a big deal, but it affects you in some way. Yeah. So now when something else happens, it's like, it's small. It's really not a big deal. We got other issues to be addressing at this point. I ain't gonna even bring it up. But like you said, once they start building, I can remember this one time I was watching, maybe it was Pastor Steve Furtick. Maybe it was him, from Elevation Church. Okay. Shout out to them. Where he was giving a sermon, and he had these two people stand up, this married couple. Okay. And they were talking about some of the issues that they were having in the relationship. And every time something would happen, he put a slat from the fence. Yeah. And so by the time he finished, and it was stuff that had just been building that they had never just addressed, they were just letting it just pile on. Mm-hmm. And he told one of them, so you put the board here, you stand on the other side. By the time they finish, here it is. Now you got a full fence between you and your partner.
That's a good visualization for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
So you were letting these little small issues, these small problems build. Mm-hmm. And here it is, you keeping score of all these little things going on because you're not allowing dialogue to happen. You're not allowing resolution to happen. Yeah. So by the time you get to the end of the week or the end of the month, here it is. You got 6 or 7 offenses that this person has done to you. And it's literally a fence, a hedge between you two.
Yo, offenses done built fences. All these little offenses done built fences.
Them built fences.
Mm.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that on a shirt. Y'all listeners better not take that from me.
Offenses built
That's
fences.
a good one though. That's a good visualization for that. Like, I mean, it happens.
That's real.
And it's very common. And I think sometimes it's because I don't know if we just sometimes there might be some people pleasing going on. Sometimes there might be you just don't want to ruffle the waters. Sometimes you might just be kind of hoping that, like, okay, like I say, you know, I'm hoping that they can pick up on the signals and stuff like that. And this is or you looking at like
they'll change.
how could somebody even do this? Like, don't they know? No, they don't. No, they don't. And also, no, they clearly they don't know not to do this. And another thing,
the power of assumption.
The power of assumption. Another thing too is crazy because another thing I learned, like what you are inherently doing, you don't vocally express, hey, this bothers me, this disappointed me.
Right.
What you're doing is you're training that person to continue doing that and to make them think that this is, you know, a no consequence to you. Well,
exactly.
all the while it's tearing you up inside or something, you know what I mean? That you are, you know, kind of like abandoning yourself or whatever in real time and not being true to your feelings and speaking to it for whatever reason, out of fear, out of whatever. And like you said, is you end up keeping score and you end up building the fence. And because you letting these offenses pile up. And then boom, one day they do something, man. It's just like, done hurricane down here.
No, that's real.
Yeah,
that is real. That's real.
What's some other ones you got that things that people can do to kind of like, you know, not stop keeping score?
Things that we can do, I would say another good one is to own your own perspective. So
own your own perspective.
Yeah. And I mean that in the sense that when you take on the authority of I versus you, it helps a person understand the situation better and the problem better because they don't feel like you coming at them. Like, I feel like what you did was disrespectful. I feel like X, Y, and Z, or what you did to me was offensive. So it's like, I'm gonna take ownership of what you did, but it's your problem. As opposed to you mad disrespectful, you bogus for what you did. You did this and you did that. You know what I'm saying? It's like we said earlier, going back into that you. But if I own my own perspective and say like, hey, I feel like that was wrong.
What you did was disrespectful.
I feel like,
I feel like what you did was kind of inconsiderate.
Right.
I feel like what you did was kind of, you know, messed up. Yeah.
Right. I feel like that wasn't nobody's business for you to be telling that, or for you to be doing that, or
that's a good one.
Whatever the case is.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because it's like you still getting the point across.
Right.
But it's not like, it's a big difference between saying that and being like, you know, you mad wild out here, or you mad disrespectful. I ain't know you was like that. You know, you
right.
You mad inconsiderate.
You man. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And I think in all of these things that we saying, you know what I mean? Like, for everybody listening, I think in all these things, what we saying is you do have to kind of like cap it at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I mean by that is like, you know, there's no magic pill and nothing like that, but it's like, we're not sitting here saying like, you just keep doing this and saying it this way, and the person, there's no change in behavior, there's no improvement.
Right.
It's like, well, I'm using it because we giving you tools right now. That's all we doing.
Yeah.
We you tools, and we just kind of like putting it out in a different way or whatever. But you also got to just kind of recognize too, like, maybe the person is mad disrespectful. You know what I mean? Maybe the person is inconsiderate or self-centered.
Right.
You have to know the difference between, okay, is this person self-centered, or did what they do just now from my perspective come across as self-centered? Is what the person did just now, is this person a selfish person? Or like you say, I feel like what you did in this instance was selfish. And you got to use your discernment and your wisdom and your Holy Ghost to determine that. Like, we can't do that for you. You got to read that and test and discern them spirits yourself. So
exactly. Right. Exactly. And you have to, I'm not saying make account for every offense, but if it's something that you see, like you said, a pattern of behavior, then that's something to address on another level. You know what I mean? Because we are giving you tools, but these are like those situational tools that, based on whatever is going on in your relationship and in your marriage, you want a better way to handle and address it, so that you and your partner are not going tit for tat. But if it's like a constant repetitive behavior pattern, then that's something that you just need to move away from completely. That's something that you need to reassess altogether.
Yeah, that's a red flag. That's a warning sign. That's an alarm. That's a, like, real talk. Like, and you shouldn't turn a blind eye to that. You shouldn't, like I said, like, I might do something, and, Klassi, I might do something like one time that comes across as selfish, but you can't say you've seen something about me that say I got a selfish pattern about me. You know what I'm saying? And if you do see something about me that I got a selfish pattern, then that, like you said, that's something you got to see and be like, nah, I got to walk away from this, because, buddy don't see it. He don't see it. And he's not trying to improve on it or work at it. I feel like we all do things sometimes. Yeah, I feel like we all do things sometimes that might be a little, kind of distasteful or, whatever to our partners, or in bad taste, that we don't mean, that we didn't really whatever wanted to come across that way. It's a different, we human, you know what I mean? But if I'm showing a pattern of being inconsiderate to you, if I'm showing a pattern of being, abusive, if I'm showing a pattern of, just whatever these things, that's a difference between keeping score and recognizing what's right in front of you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, no, I agree with you on that one. That's a good one. I like that one.
Absolutely. Another one that I would say is understanding that love is patient. And boy, oh boy, it is hard to be patient.
Yeah.
That is a Holy Spirit tool for real. Yeah, because we are not created as patient people. That is something that is learned. That's something that you adopt.
Yeah, that patience is a fruit of the Spirit.
Yes.
And before I forget, and I want to stay on patience too. Well, no, I'll save that. Let's stay on patience right now. I'll remember it. But yeah, being able to be patient is not something you're born with. It's an acquired skill. My moms would tell me all the time. I feel like I acquired my skill dealing with my pops. What's up, pops? Love you, man. My moms would tell me all the time, like, man, you got the patience of Job. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, that patience is a very important thing that you got to bring into your relationship. And especially just ask yourself this question when you talking about somebody trespassing you or transgressing you and things happening that kind of getting on your nerves and irking you or irritating or annoying. Just kind of remind yourself that, ask yourself this question, like, would you want somebody to be patient with you?
That part.
Or would you want somebody to be all short and irritable and annoying with you? You ain't perfect.
Yeah.
You don't do everything right. Well, maybe you do. I don't know who you is right now listening. Maybe you do, but most of the people I know ain't perfect. And most of the people I know,
exactly.
Guess what? I know I do some
Exactly.
stuff get on Klassi lady nerves. I know I do
Yep.
some stuff irritate her sometimes.
Yeah, we are not perfect.
We're not, but be patient. You can love them to the moon and back. They give you butterflies. They make you feel all special.
Right.
Oh, they so wrong. All of that. But guess what? They gonna do some stuff to get on your nerves. And you gotta be patient with them.
You have to be patient. You have to be patient, yo. And the reason I say that is because I have learned that you cannot expect a person to change and grow at the timing that you want them to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like, for instance, I can bring something to Hamp and be like, yeah, so I feel like what you did wasn't, you know what I'm saying, wasn't cool. That was mad disrespectful or something like that, right? I feel like that was kind of low. That was a low blow or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't expect for him to, in that moment, with the blink of an eye or the flick of a switch, and then stop doing what I asked him not to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that literally has to grow on a person, because you're talking about changing
the
actions and behaviors, the nature of a person.
Yeah.
Things that they were used to doing, things that they didn't even recognize that they did that will be offensive to another person.
Yeah, not changing you at your core and your personality, but not changing what makes you you, but changing some behaviors and some thought patterns that you might have thought was, acceptable or whatever, but it's like, no, like, this ain't it. This ain't it for me. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. It may have worked before, but you don't have to be that way with me. You don't have to have your guard up with me. You don't have to act that way with me. So it's things like that bring it to your attention. I just can't expect you to just right off the bat be like, oh, then that's how we rocking. Because then it's not going to seem as sincere. It's not going to seem as real and genuine, because now you're doing something to just please me, as opposed to really understanding why I brought it to your attention in the first place.
Yeah. And so, to that point, to kind of add on to what you said, if you dealing with somebody that's genuine and sincere about correcting the bad behavior, because like we say all the time, like the best apology, or the best people say all the time, I'm sorry. The best I'm sorry is change behavior. You know what I mean? So if you're dealing with somebody that is actually really trying to change that behavior,
right,
or whatever, to your point, Klassi, it might be a situation where, like, you bring something to me and you might bring something to me, and guess what? I might mess up the same way one more time. You know what I mean? Because but I didn't mess up as bad as the first time. Or, you know what I mean? When I say mess up, I just mean like it might have happened again, but I'm learning to change. It didn't change just boom like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's a good one. Just kind of understanding and having that patience to be like, if it's sincere, it might take some time for that change behavior that you want to see to come to fruition or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. So what was the one you wanted to bring up before we started talking about patience?
Oh man, and I mean, I feel like we can wrap it up on this for real. Talking about keeping score, love keep no record of wrongs.
1 Corinthians 13.
I mean, yo, it's right there. Love keeps no record of wrongs.
Yeah.
And so we keeping score.
That's not love.
But the thing right there say, love don't keep no record of wrongs now. So what we doing here? You got a record.
That's real.
You got my name, dates, talent marks, all that. But I thought this thing say, love, charity, keep no record of wrongs. So what's up?
Yeah. No, that's real. It's right there, plain as day. Because when you think about it, just to your point, when you are in a marriage, when you are in covenant with somebody, you are supposed to be reflecting God's love, right?
Yeah.
So what sense does it make for your father, your heavenly father, to remind you every time that you transgressed and you sinned and you're trying to change your life for the better? That is what you're doing to your partner every time you remind them of their offense.
Yo, imagine how painful that would feel, yo. Imagine that you sitting there trying to do right, you sitting there trying to whatever, and y'all just keep telling you, yeah, well, I remember last month, you know, remember last year,
right.
Remember a couple weeks ago. Like, dang, is this y'all talking to me
Right.
or this the enemy? Which one?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Thought you love me.
Thought you loved me. Like,
yeah.
thought you had grace for me, patience for me, keeping no record of wrongs, all of that. So
right.
it's the same thing. And so it's very important that we kind of like get away from that and don't do that, man. Cause it's just no bueno. Nothing good's gonna come out of
it. At all. At all. Nothing good comes out of that. Especially when you are in a partnership, because when one falls, the other is there to pick them up. And if I'm the one that's tripping you, then how can I be picking you up?
Yeah, if I'm busy tripping you up, then I can't pick you up. Simple as that. Kind of make me think a little bit about the fences thing that you talked about, that they did at Elevation, that little visual too. Like it's about kind of like coming to this mindset of like that we are on the same team, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know, and kind of bring it back to the beginning of the show, the beginning of the set is I'm not trying, nobody wins if you lose, if one of us lose. If we go into battle and you ain't at your best, you ain't at your strongest, Klassi, you ain't like ready to go, and I'm ready to go, we lose.
Yeah.
We lose. So if me keeping this record of wrongs means I'm winning and it's damaging you and hurting you, I'm self-sabotaging us, yo. Like I'm messing this thing up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's where the enemy does his best work. If he can get you and I to be competitive and go back and forth with each other, we don't have time to fight the real war.
Yeah, exactly. That part.
Yeah, I'm using all of my weapons, all of my tools of mass destruction on my partner. So I'm burnt out when I get out to the world. What do I have to offer?
Yeah. Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Man, this is good, yo. This is good. Like I really
that was a good one.
I really don't think sometimes, and I mean, you know, listeners, y'all got anything to add, let us know. But it's like I really just don't think how. Oh, and one other thing I know I was thinking about too, when we was talking about when we thinking about keeping record of wrongs and keeping score. A lot of times that kind of that vindictiveness and that unforgiveness will get in the way too. You know what I'm saying? Like that, you know, that tit for tat. You did something, now I got to do something to hurt you back.
Exactly.
You know just that vindictive energy, you know, spiteful energy. You gotta let that go. Gotta let that spirit go. And then just the unforgiveness appear at all. Like, you know, the Messiah said, how many times you forgive? 7 times. Say no, 7 times 70. So you gotta just be more forgiving, more patient. Like I said, not to the point where you're not recognizing dysfunctional, toxic behavior that could ultimately end up being dangerous to you and your family unit or yourself, your relationship. Not that, but just kind of, you know, just really kind of like separating the actions and the problems from the person or whatever, you know.
Exactly.
And all of that. So
no, that's good. Love more, hate less, forgive often.
Offenses build fences.
This your girl, Classy Lady.
It's your boy, Hamp.
Love you guys. Peace.
We out.